When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliatt with the sister sauce.
Hi, everybody. I am Tina, and this is my lovely sister, Priscilla. She's a little under the weather today, but still looking beautiful as ever. Welcome to the 18th, no, 19th. Is that right, Priscilla?
Yes.
19th
Yep.
episode of the Sister Sauce. We're excited to bring some new topics every week, and today is no different. It's one of the fun ones, and we'll share that with you in a little bit. But first, I think Priscilla has some hot sauce for us today. What's your hot sauce,
I
Pris?
do. Do y'all like my sexy voice?
So sultry. I love it.
I'll talk like this.
You sound like who's the actress that talks that way? Is it Betty Davis? Who was the
Um,
actress with the deep voice? Somebody before I was born.
well,
But anyway.
I don't know. I don't know about the
Greta
older
Garbo? I
generation.
don't know. One of those
I was
old
trying to think, what's the one, what's her name that was in, oh my gosh. Now we'll be on a long journey. I'm trying to remember who I'm thinking of.
you know how to whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow.
Her name will pop in my head later and I'll just yell it and you won't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, my hot sauce today is about this is a leap year. Woohoo! So anybody with a leap year birthday out there, you finally get to actually celebrate on your actual birthday. There
Yeah.
are 4 million people in the world that are leap day babies.
I never knew that.
Kind
I
of
thought it was
crazy.
like really rare, like one in every 366.
I know you would think that would not be so common. I don't know. Actually, quite a few are famous people. I don't know who they all are right off the top of my head, but that's one of the facts is quite a few are famous people. I guess if there is 4 million, and then what's another one here? This is interesting. Women often choose this day to propose marriage to men. That
Isn't
is
that like an
interesting.
Irish thing? I feel like that's an Irish thing.
Maybe. Hmm. That's another thing we could
It seems like
look
I
up.
saw a Hallmark movie about that.
Mhm. In
For real, I'm not just kidding.
that wouldn't surprise me. There's Hallmark movies about everything, right? And in Greece, it's they consider it lucky to oh, excuse me, they consider it bad luck to get married in a leap year. So 1 in 5 engaged couples try to avoid getting married in a leap year. So that's interesting. I wonder how the other four couples are doing. They're all in therapy.
Well,
No. Um, and then another fact is unless the date of the year is also divisible by 400, then it is still a leap year. I don't know what that means. I can't even, my brain is not braining on that one. I don't know what that means.
I guess
Unless the year is also divisible by 400, then it is still a leap year.
does
I,
it shift every 400 years?
I don't know. Every every year divisible by 4 is a leap year, but every year divisible, oh, I didn't read all of the facts. I am sorry. But every year divisible by 100 is not a leap year. Unless the year is also divisible by 400, then it's still a leap year. I should have read the whole package. I didn't
Wow,
realize it
that's
split
so
it up with bullet
confusing because a
points.
hundred's divisible by four. So if it's divisible by 100, it would stand to reason it's divisible by four.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, even my math brain hurts right now. Well, we'll just take their word for it.
Yeah. One more fun fact about them is that in oh, where did it go? I lost my fun fact. Leap day babies are called leapers or leaplings. And there's a 1 in 1,461 chance of being a leapling.
Oh, wow. Well, that makes sense because I was saying 1 in 366, but that's not true because you have 3 years of 365 and then a fourth year of 366. So if you add 365 times 3 and then add another 365 plus 1, probably gives you that total. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I think they're talking about the date though. But that would, I don't know.
No, I was just saying like the odds that you would be born on a leap
Oh,
day.
the odds. I thought you were
So
only using-
365 times 4 is 1,460 plus the leap day is 1. So I would think the odds, I'm not a statistician though. 1,461, is that what they said? 1 in 1,461?
1 in, yes.
There you go. I did the math right then. Wow, I feel so proud. That probably really wasn't as brilliant as it sounds, but and I want to share with you that I Googled while you were talking, and I was listening though. I can multitask. Leap Year, the movie, a Hallmark movie, came out in 2010, and it is about Anna Brady. I'm assuming it's Hallmark. It looks like a Hallmark movie. It is about Anna Brady who travels to Dublin, Ireland, or is on her way to Dublin, Ireland, to propose to her boyfriend on the leap day because, according to Irish tradition, a man who receives a marriage proposal on a leap day must accept it. So this is maybe why people who get married in leap year don't stay married because the wife kind of tricks them into it, calls the hand, forces them into it. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my.
It's on the internet, it must be true.
But they can't get married in Greece because then they'll have bad luck.
Yeah, this is true. But if it weren't for
What if
bad
the,
luck, we'd have no luck at all.
wow, that would be a real problem if the Irish woman proposed to a Greek man on leap day.
Okay, so I'm thinking now it's not a Hallmark movie, but it might have been played on the Hallmark Channel because guess who the lead actress is?
Who?
Amy Adams.
Oh.
And she's so pretty with her red hair. And
Mhm.
Matthew Good plays Declan, the guy she ends up meeting and falling in love with. She don't make it to her boyfriend. She gets in some kind of
Spoilers.
torrential downpour or whatever. All right. Well, that was interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Today, our theme is our favorite movies. And my list ended up being way more extensive than Priscilla's because I think I didn't know how to, I couldn't limit it, you know? It's like a woman who keeps inviting everybody under the sun to her wedding because she doesn't know where to trim the list. That was me with my movies. I didn't know where to trim the list. But I will be honest and straight up do a disclaimer. And I will say that anything Hallmark and anything Christmas is probably my favorites, but they aren't on my list because I deliberately did not add them. Because I said I did add 1 or 2 Christmas movies, but Hallmark and Christmas movies are my favorite movies. But let's start with rom-coms. Do you want to
Okay.
throw a few of yours out, Chris?
I know that you and I have some same ones.
Yes, we do.
I know you've got mail on your list,
Yes,
which I
that's
also consider a Christmas movie.
you've got mail. It's got
I watch
Christmas
it at
in it.
Christmas.
Huh?
Yeah, I always watch it at Christmas.
And it's got a little Thanksgiving scene where they sing
Mhm.
the violin sing with joyful ring.
I can't
That's
sing
cute.
right now.
That's a cute scene. Yeah.
And of course, and The Holiday, which is also a Christmas movie.
I realized after you sent me your list that I had not put the holiday on my list, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
How could I have missed that one? That's a good one.
I
Oh,
love that
I
movie.
love that one too. So good.
And of course,
And
you know,
what else? Go ahead.
on the same on the same trend with Meg Ryan, there's French Kiss. That's a great movie.
Yes, I had forgotten that one as well.
And
I've
you
only
know,
seen that one once though. I need to
oh,
watch that again.
didn't we go see that one in the theater together?
I think we might have.
You and me and Mom. I think we
Yeah.
went to see it. And I threw The Wedding Singer in there because that one's really
Yes.
fun. And also one of my favorite rom-coms is and this is I don't know if it counts as a rom-com, but it is romantic and it is comedy. But Some Kind of Wonderful, which is a really old movie, you know, that's from the 80s.
Remember that one.
Yeah, Some Kind of Wonderful is Mary Stuart Masterson and oh, what's his name? Andrew Thomas? Andrew. Is that his name? But that's a real old one. That's got it has that classic romantic comedy trope of the best friends, you know, who
I
belong
love
together.
those. There's one that I don't have on my list. I think it's called Your Place or Mine. And it's Ashton Kutcher, and who? Jennifer Aniston? Jennifer Garner? One of those beautiful leading actresses. I can't remember offhand who it is, but they are like best friends. And I think it's called Your Place or Mine because they take trips and they spend time at each other's house and all, but they end up, I love that. So cute. But it's not on my list because I can't even remember the name of it. So there you go. So um, did you have any more you wanted to add or um, okay, so I had You've Got Mail, obviously, and The Wedding Singer, like you said. I also put Sleepless in Seattle, another Meg Ryan movie. It's so funny because I was going down my list and I don't know if you looked at it, but it's like the first one I had on my list was You've Got Mail. That's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. Then Sleepless in Seattle. That's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. And then When Harry Met Sally. That's Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal.
Mhm.
And then I switched and went to 13 Going on 30, which is Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo.
Mhm.
And then I thought of Mark Ruffalo and I was like, ooh, I really like that one he's in with Reese Witherspoon, Just Like Heaven. So that's one of my favorites. And then that got me to thinking for some wild reason about um, Drew Barrymore. I have no idea why, but Drew Barrymore popped into my head when I was thinking about Just Like Heaven. Maybe because I saw something with her and Reese Witherspoon recently. But anyway, one of my favorites with her is She's Not That Into You, or She's Just Not That Into You. I was supposed to look up the correct title and I think I forgot. But I also like The Wedding Singer, by the way, which is another Drew Barrymore movie. And then Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson. And then I kind of went a different direction and I went with Matthew McConaughey and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Failure to Launch, which is him and Sarah Jessica Parker. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is Matthew McConaughey and Goldie Hawn's daughter, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
We have
Never Been
names.
Kissed. I'm back to Drew Barrymore again on that one. That one is so cute. If you've ever heard the story, Drew Barrymore and the guy that plays Sam on it, I can't think of his name, Sam Coulson. He tells a funny little story about how he had to kiss Drew Barrymore and things happened and it's it's not rated G, so I can't share it. But anyway,
Oh goodness.
it's you
Kate
can Google
Hudson is
that.
Goldie. Kate Hudson is Goldie Hawn's
Kate
daughter.
Hudson, thank you. Yeah, she was in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's a really cute plot. I don't know if have you seen that one?
Yes, I
That's
think so.
really cute. It's where she is writing an article about how to lose a guy in 10 days. Meanwhile, his coworkers bet him that he can't convince a girl to or to make a girl fall in love with him in 10 days.
Oh, and
And they
right, and
meet at
she's
a
coming on
bar.
strong
Yeah. And
on
she's like
purpose.
trying to do everything wrong to make him break up with her because she's writing the classic, these are all the mistakes women make, and he's sure to break up with you article, but he won't break up with her. Really cute. Catherine Hahn is in that and plays one of her coworkers and friends, and she's real cute in that. I really like
Mhm.
her. And then Wedding Date. If you've never seen that, that one's really cute. That is with um oh, good looking dude. What's his name? Um, I have to think for a minute. I'll come back to it. Notting Hill. You had that one on your list, didn't you? Or no?
No, I didn't have that one on my
That's
list.
so okay. Here's where I shift gears because Notting Hill was Julia Roberts.
Hmm.
So then I thought, ooh, Pretty Woman. And I added Pretty Woman to my list.
Wow.
And then some of the other ones I had on my list that were not necessarily my favorites. Well, probably out of all of them, my favorite in this last grouping is Sweet Home Alabama. And that's back to Reese Witherspoon again. Really cute movie with her. And the other ones are all the Bridget Jones movies, but I primarily like the first one. Crazy Rich Asians, which I refused to watch for the longest time because Scott kept telling me to watch it. And I did our brother kept telling me to watch it. And so I thought if Scott wanted me to watch it, it's probably stupid. Poor Scott. But I mean, that's the kind of
Nobody
movies
tell
he
him.
likes, like Airport and all those silly movies with the police and the cops and it's the
Hey,
whole,
believe it or not, I Googled best movies of all time to see what would come up, and there was a list and Airport was on it, but
oh my gosh.
so was Snakes on a Plane. And I'm like, who wrote this list?
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it because I thought it was one of these slapstick kind of comedies. I don't know why. I just thought it was. And then AJ and I watched it and it was actually pretty sweet. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that one. That's a good movie. I looked
yeah,
up the wedding date. That's Dermot Mulroney and
and Deborah
Deborah
Messing. I
Messing.
thought of
I
Deborah
did see
Messing, but I
that one.
still couldn't remember Dermot's name.
I forgot that I saw that one, but I did see that one. It was really
Yeah.
good.
And Amy Adams is in that too. She plays Deborah Messing's sister. And it's kind
Mm,
of a little bit of a spoiled brat in it, but it's
yeah.
cute. It's really cute. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But here's the other ones. I think I mentioned Bridget Jones and Crazy Rich Asians. I think this one you had on your list too, Enchanted. Did you?
No, my list was so short because what I did when I made my list was I thought favorite movie, I love watching movies in general, so I could
Right.
get into real trouble. So I was like, how am I going to limit myself? So it's like, what are movies that I like that I would rewatch over and over? And so,
Uh,
and then I was really struggling, and my my brain kept going blank, and I'm just like, what's a movie? I don't know. So it took me a long time to come
you
up
have
with.
the
But
cold brain right now.
yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, okay, so I had Enchanted on there. That one is always just I've been endeared to that. That's also Amy Adams, huh? I was on a trend there with Amy
Yep.
Adams and I didn't even realize it. And then the other one was 10 Things I Hate About You with Julia
Styles.
Stiles. Thank you.
I remember her
And
name.
yeah, that
So,
was sweet. That was a cute movie. Of course, it was about high schoolers, so it was kind of young, but I like some of the ones that are about high schoolers. Uh,
yeah.
those are fun. Those are all I had on the rom-coms. Did you have any on comedy that weren't really rom-coms, or they could go in either or whatever?
Well, when I sorted my list, like it was funny because I made a category called inspiring, and there's a lot of movies on the in that section that I made that are also funny movies. And in fact, at least one of them is on your comedy list, but which I think is School of Rock you had on your
Oh, I
comedy list,
love
didn't
that
you?
one.
Yeah, I put that under inspiring too. And then I only have two under comedy because everything was either a rom-com or it was inspiring. And so I only had two, Princess Bride,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
I got
the
that.
standard, and then 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell, which is a little saucy, but it's a hilarious movie. And I still quote it sometimes.
I had the Princess. I was like, I had the Princess Bride on there, but I had it under fantasy slash sci-fi.
Oh,
Uh,
see,
yeah, it's
it could
hard
have
to
gone
put them
there
in
too.
categories. It's kind of like when we were doing the TV shows. Some of them like fit under multiple categories.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was struggling with at first, and then I just kind of dumped them into a little sort real quick.
Another one that's inspiring that is a comedy is the Barbie movie.
Yeah, that I have it on there.
Do you? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm not going to steal your thunder on the Barbie movie. Well, go ahead
Oh
and
no.
share your inspiring ones, and then I'll go back to my comedy because I
Okay. Well,
suspect a lot of your inspiring ones are on my comedy list.
there's a few on my inspiring list. Well, there's at least one that's not really a it has humor in it, but it's not really a comedy. But I'll come back to that one later. But I love obviously I love Steve Carell because I put Evan Almighty on there too.
Oh, I didn't have that, but I love that movie.
That's a great movie. Evan Almighty. It's kind of a not really a sequel to Bruce Almighty, but it was kind of like a
Same
side,
plot. Yeah.
yes, side
Or not
along
same plot, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
they both was Morgan Freeman God and Bruce Almighty too.
He was.
I don't
Yeah.
think I saw all of that one.
Oh, good old
Um,
Morgan Freeman. He's
yep,
like amazing.
yeah, classic. So yeah, so if you haven't seen Evan Almighty, it's a really cute movie. Morgan Freeman is God, and he goes to Evan, Evan Baxter, which is Steve. Wow, I have brain cells somewhere. He goes to Steve Carell's character, Evan Baxter, and he's like, who is a politician, I think, and he's just been elected to some office like councilman or something. I don't know what he is. And he goes to him. He's got this brand new fancy house and on this big new property and everything. And God visits him and is like, look, there's going to be a flood. And he's like, no, there's, but God is unrelenting and keeps sending him, giant piles of gopher wood and all these animals keep coming and showing up and the animals are following him to work and all of a sudden he starts sprouting a beard and he shaves and it sprouts right back before he can lift his head up from the sink. And he's got
That
these
reminded me of a
robes.
Santa Claus movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got these robes that show up in his closet and he puts the suit on to go to work. And before he can get out the door, the robes are on him and he keeps taking them off. And he's so frustrated and his birds attacking him in his car on the way to work. But eventually, he decides to start doing it because God won't let up. And the really cool thing about that movie is, whenever there's, you and I, whenever there's any personal growth in something, that's what really makes it.
Oh
And you
yeah.
see, his wife, which is the one from Gilmore Girls, I can't think of her name. Um, she's, she doesn't understand what's happening with him, and it's disturbing to her and the kids. And the original at the beginning of the movie, he was so invested in his career that he kept missing time with his kids and stuff. And, of course, by the end, he's been spending time with his kids and his wife is having to, go back and think about, what is he doing, and she decides to support him and stuff, and there's a really, I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but there's a really good scene in that one where God goes and talks to, as a human person,
Morgan Freeman,
Morgan
basically.
Freeman. He finds her and goes and talks to her separately without her knowing it's him,
Yeah,
and she just
it's a
thinks he's some
sweet
guy.
scene.
That's a really sweet moment. So y'all check that
Yes,
movie out and watch for
very
that.
sweet. I haven't seen that in ages. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good one. And then it's very much a comedy, but it's also uh kind of inspiring because of what it's about. But Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
that's a really funny movie.
Remember when I
And
watched that for the first time?
when
When we were evacuated from Hurricane Katrina and I went to your house, we were staying at your house, and you and I went across the street to your friend's house and
oh
watched it while everybody stayed at your house. And so it was just me and you and Angie, and I think maybe Renee. But
huh,
yeah,
that's a really good movie.
it was cute.
Kevin
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon is in that, and he is so funny. Besides the
Oh
whole
my
list of the
gosh, I
characters, it's so
know.
weird to see him in that because it's such a different character for him.
Yeah, you almost don't recognize him in
Mm.
it. It's so funny. And you don't realize what a great comedic actor he is until you see that. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
that's a really good one. And let's see what else I got. Another one that's a funny movie and meant to be a comedy, but I find it kind of inspiring is Free Guy, which is a more recent movie. That's Ryan Reynolds is a video game character. He's a uh, um NPC, a non-player character, and he becomes self-aware.
Yeah.
And Joe Keery from Stranger Things is in it, and oh, I can't think of the name of the young lady who's in it, but they have written the code that has made him be who he is and start learning and becoming self-aware. And so it's the whole his whole journey of how to behave in that game, and he's just so full of the joy of being alive because he starts to really enjoy, and before he started to become self-aware, he was just this character who got up every morning, fed his fish, ate his piece of toast, went to the bank to work. The bank robbers come in because it's a game like, a lot of the kids play where they're shooting and people stealing things. And the bank robbers would come in and he'd lay on the floor. And then when they leave, he'd get up and then another one come in and he lay. And it's just, life was this boring, dull thing. And then he comes out of his shell. And so and it's and there's some romance at the end too. So that's a really
Uh,
good movie.
well, I saw like the first half of that movie, and then something happened, like we lost our power or something. And I don't
Oh,
think I ever got to see the rest of the movie. But we were sitting there
oh,
watching it, and something happened that we weren't able to finish watching it. And so I'll have to go back and look for that. Because when I was Googling, like you, to try to spark my memory as to some of the movies I've seen and loved, that one kept coming up. And I was like, that sounds familiar, but I don't remember it. And then when you started describing it, I was like, yeah, I remember seeing a good bit of it, but not the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, that's a really good one. And then I have one Ratatouille, which of course is a kid's
That's one
movie,
of
but I
AJ's
love it.
favorites. He loves that movie.
And I had School of Rock on there, which we talked about already. And
Yeah.
the other one, there's actually two on the list that are not really comedies. I'll save those I'm gonna put those with drama. But the other funny one was Undertaking Betty, which is one of Mom's favorite.
Mom's favorite. Yeah.
And I really love that movie. It's such a sweet movie. And one of the most inspiring little bits in that movie, I mean, it's about this woman who's in a horrible marriage, and it's all about her kind of coming into her own and getting confidence. And so that's the biggest inspiring part. But there's this one little part where she's talking to this little boy who's helping his grandfather, who's doing their landscaping. And he he's pulling he's supposed to be pulling weeds. And she says, "Why aren't you pulling these?" And he says, "Well, those are flowers." And she said, "No, those are weeds." And he said, "But they look pretty to me. Who says it's a weed? Just
Yeah.
because somebody says it's a weed, if it's beautiful, and it changes sort of her perspective on herself and her self-confidence. And I always
Oh,
love that
that
part.
does sound sweet. I've never seen it.
Oh,
Mom's
it's
talked
really
about
good.
it so much, and it was another one of those things where Scott kept telling me to watch it, and I was like, if he likes it, it's probably one of these silly ones, you know?
Oh no, it's great.
So I
And
was
uh
hesitant.
Christopher Walken is in there, and he is
Oh, he's
so
awesome.
funny. So funny. That is there's little antics and stuff that are probably Scott's favorite parts.
I think I saw part of it like when I was at their house or something and they were watching it, but I've never watched it from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other ones that you wanted to mention that were
I'm
comedy
gonna
or
I'm gonna save the other two inspiring ones for drama.
okay. I'm going to run through my comedy list really quickly because these are not all necessarily ones that I feel. Rom-com is my thing. That's my
Mhm.
favorite movies of all times, rom-coms. And so I like comedies, but I always love when there was at least a little bit of romance. So some of the ones that I wrote down were Stripes with Bill Murray. I love that one. Animal House, John Belushi, great movie, so funny. Arthur, which was an old movie
Mm.
with, you remember Adrian, was it Adrian Barbeau? No.
Maybe. No.
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
was it
anyway.
not?
Look that one up while I'm talking. Austin Powers, I thought was funny, but was kind of borderline stupid. Beverly Hills Cop, I liked. That was with Eddie Murphy, if I remember correctly. And then that made me think of the Dr. Doolittle with Eddie Murphy, which I liked also. But then I thought, if you like the Eddie Murphy Dr. Doolittle, everybody should go back and watch the original Dr. Doolittle, the musical, because they have so many beautiful songs in that movie. I loved it. And we saw that at the theater when we were kids. It was before you were born. And I remember going away from that theater and just thinking, wow, I love those songs. And when I was in eighth grade, I was asked to sing at an event at school, and Mrs. Clark, who was the kindergarten teacher at Our Savior, and she was my piano teacher, said, "What can you sing?" And I had been playing some songs out of the Dr. Doolittle songbook
Hmm.
for piano practice. And she took that book, and there's a song called Something in Your Eyes. And he actually sings it. Dr. Doolittle actually sings it to one of the animals. And so I sang it to a little kindergartner at whatever this event was at school. So it was fun. It was a cute song. And then some of the other ones I liked were Big, the movie Big with Tom
Oh
Hanks.
yeah.
That was really cute. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That was a
Ha.
cute one. Mhm.
Yep.
Uh, the Birdcage with Robin Williams.
Um,
Blues Brothers, of course, another John Belushi one. And Caddyshack. That was
oh,
I'm naming
classic.
all the it's I feel like I'm naming all the Saturday Night Live ones. Coming
Yeah.
to America with Eddie Murphy. That was really I mean,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Is Coming to America Eddie Murphy? I
Yes.
get that one confused with one of the other ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Coming to America is Eddie Murphy, but also
I should
Trading
have had that on my
Places,
list.
which I confuse sometimes with Coming to America.
Which one was that? I'm sorry.
Trading Places.
Oh, Trading Places.
That's also Eddie Murphy, where
Yes.
he's trades places with Dan
Dan
Aykroyd.
Aykroyd.
Yeah, very cute movie. If you've never seen that, that's a
And
must
it's a
watch.
crossover because they've got the two guys. I can't I can't
That's true
remember.
because they're in Trading Places.
Yeah, they're in
No,
Trading
I'm sorry,
Places
they're in
and
Coming to America too. Trading
yeah.
Places is the first one,
Yeah,
and
they
then
were in
later
Trading
on,
Places. They were prominent in that and then in Coming to America, he's out walking with the girl and these two bums are sitting there and he gives them some money. Mortimer and
Mortimer,
Albert.
Mortimer,
I can't think of,
yeah, I don't remember,
but
but
and he
oh
gives
my
them the money
gosh.
with them. That was so
Yeah,
funny.
such a great callback because in Trading Places, it ends with them kind of being down on their luck, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it's really cute. And then I like Elf. That's a Christmas movie, so it should have been an assumption, but I do like Elf. I love that. The First Wives Club, and
Mm.
there's another one about the all these women that were dating the like the wife and the girlfriend and then the new girlfriend, and I could not for the life of me remember who was in the movie or what it was called, but I remember thinking this is a really funny movie. And I
Oh, is
want to,
that the one with Cameron Diaz?
it's possibly the one that does the commercial where she tells her daughter, she and her daughter do a commercial together. Do you know who I'm talking about? She was in,
Mm.
oh, that's another one that I like that wasn't on my list. And that's the one with Adam Sandler where the little boy, Big Daddy.
Mm.
Um, but she's in that movie with him. But she, oh gosh, I can't think of her name. But anyway, she is one of the women. And I think you're right. I think Cameron Diaz is one of the women. It was really good, really funny. I like uh so Ferris Bueller's Day Off was an oldie but goodie. Galaxy Quest.
Oh yeah.
I
Just
guess I could have
watching
put that
that.
under sci-fi fantasy, but it was so funny. And we just watched that recently with your kids.
Hmm.
Legally Blonde, which I love Reese Witherspoon, and the organizing show that I watch redid Reese Witherspoon's closet and had all the clothes from Legally Blonde. And she was so cute. She put on one of the hats and she said, oh, I just put this hat on and I turned into Elle Woods. And she was talking like Elle Woods. It was really cute. But that was a cute movie, Legally Blonde. I didn't care for the sequel that much. Mrs. Doubtfire, I thought was really good. I love the Sister Act movies, Stripes with Bill Murray, Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman. And then I mentioned Trading Places, all the Pitch Perfect movies, loved them. And then one of my favorites, which is sort of a rom com because it's got romance in it, but that's not the primary focus. The Replacements with Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's so
great
cute.
movie. That's all my comedies. And then I
Oh.
had dramas. You want to go with your dramas first?
Well, when you were talking before, I looked up Arthur real quick. That was Liza Minnelli that was in that,
Oh yes, it
by
sure
the
was.
way.
Who was the guy? I can't. Did you
Um, uh,
Moore, Dudley Moore. Is
Dudley
that
Moore,
right?
yeah.
Yes. He was really good in that. That was a cute movie.
Yep. Um, let's see. I had four on my original drama list, and then I said I was moving these other two up, so that's only six. The two that I thought were inspiring movies that are really drama but inspiring movies are The 100-Foot Journey with Helen Mirren. That's a really cool movie. And if you
I
like
didn't see that. I
Ratatouille,
love Helen Mirren though.
if you like Ratatouille, you'll love The 100-Foot Journey because it's about cooking. And it's this family who lives in India. They come under attack by these bad people. And they own a restaurant and it's a beautiful restaurant and that they attack they're like, bad soldiers or something. I don't know. That makes me sound really dumb, but I can't think of words right now. But they come and attack the restaurant, and the mother of the family, who is it's a husband and wife who own the restaurant, and their kids help them, and some of their kids are grown, but their kids are helping them with the restaurant, and the mother gets killed in this fire because they set the restaurant on fire, and the dad doesn't know what to do, and he wants to get out and go somewhere. So there's a lot of people migrating from India to Europe, and they decide to go to Europe, and I think they're in France, and they go to France, and they find a house that's up on a hill, and they have to get up, they're trying to get to the house, and anyways, they end up finding a empty restaurant that's for sale, and they decide that they're going to make it their new restaurant and serve Indian food. And across the street, like 100 feet away, is Helen Mirren's haute cuisine restaurant, where she serves French food, and she is not thrilled with them showing up in the neighborhood. And it's all about the tension between the two, the family and her, and the personal growth that happens and everything. And
What's the name of it?
it's called The 100 Foot Journey.
I like that. I have to look for
Yeah.
that one too.
And the other one that was an inspiring drama that I had on that list was Tick Tick Boom, which we just watched the other day again, which is the story of Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent. And it's Andrew Garfield plays Jonathan Larson in it, and I think the whole thing is written though by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and all the music and everything. And some of the stuff in it is by Jonathan Larson, because Tick Tick Boom was a musical he wrote, but the movie is about him writing it and about his personal relationships and stuff, and his struggles with.
So it's like biographical.
Yeah, so it's very deep, and I mean, you cannot watch it without a box of Kleenex because you'll cry. It gets very emotional. And they talk about, a lot of the events that happened during that time, because the AIDS crisis was very serious at that time. And
Yeah.
he's in New York City, and a lot of his friends are getting sick, and it's just like insane, and sadly he died very young, before Rent even made it on Broadway. Like, I think it was the night before Rent went on Broadway, he passed away from a sudden aneurysm. And so it's very sad. And I think knowing that he died before he got to see his success, because he was always very frustrated with himself that he got to be 30 years old and had not made a name for himself in Broadway yet, because
Yeah.
he was holding himself up to Sondheim standard. And it was ridiculous, and his friends kept telling him so, but he still could not, get out of his funk and stuff. And he almost quit. And then he came out with Rent. So we're all grateful that he stuck to it a little longer, because that's a
Yeah.
really good show. But that's a real good one. And then my other dramas that I have, Forrest Gump, I know you have that on your
Oh
list.
yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah. And then Shawshank Redemption is on your list, isn't it?
Yes. Good movie.
Another great movie. Those are the kinds of movies you go and you watch them, and it's like, this is a great movie. I cannot watch this again because it's
I
so
know.
emotional.
I know. All of my dramas pretty much are like that.
Yeah, and the next one I have is also like that. It's Gladiator. I don't know if did you see that
I don't
one?
think I've seen it, but I know the
Yeah.
movie.
It's very that one's actually, that one's kind of bloody. So there's that, but that movie is dark, but it's so well done, and it's just the cinematic quality is very high in that
Yeah.
movie. The way it's
Yeah.
shot, and the quality of the dialogue and everything is all good. And the last one I had on there, because I didn't know where to put it, so I put it under drama, was Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's really good. That's a good movie. That's a sweet movie.
Yeah, I love that
Mm.
movie. It's not really a rom-com at
No, not
all.
really.
It's got romance. It's not comedy at all, though.
Ye Olde Romance was not funny. So my dramas, I had Erin Brockovich, which is a really great legal drama with um, with Julia Roberts, and she is tremendous in that. She's such a great actress. Catch Me If You Can is the one with Mark Ruffalo, and that's about magic. They do magic, and they're just so incredibly good at it. But it's all this plot that unfolds. It's really interesting. And then I talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. When a Man Loves a Woman is the one with Meg Ryan, where she's the
Mhm.
alcoholic, and whoo, that one's intense. I couldn't watch that one again for sure. Driving Miss Daisy was a drama, but very sweet.
Mhm.
Mr. Holland's Opus was another one.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good movie.
I would put that one under inspiring too.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That is an inspirational one. And then one I could definitely not watch again, but I had to watch it once because I love her, and that is Misery. And
Oh,
that's with
woo,
Kathleen
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates. Oh, and I want to mention to you that when we were talking about the sultry voices, I think the one they used to say that about was Lauren Bacall. Had a
Oh
sexy
yeah,
voice, sultry voice. But you know who else? Kathleen Turner.
that's who I was trying to remember.
That's who I thought
Kathleen
maybe you were
Turner.
trying to
I
think
kept wanting to
of.
say
Yeah.
Kathleen, but I couldn't. I wanted every time I say Kathleen, I want to say Kathleen Kelly, but that's
Yeah.
that's
Kathleen.
Meg Ryan's
And
character. You got
oddly,
mail.
Kathleen Kelly was a girl I worked with at my old job. So
Ah,
whenever I watch You've Got Mail, I always
I
think
think of
about
her.
the lady that used to work with me. Um, so then I had one, you mentioned the one that was biographical. I had one on a list that was by itself as biographical, and that was Rudy, the football movie.
Oh,
And I never ever would have thought to watch that, but it was one of AJ's favorite movies. And I just thought it was such a cute movie. And so that's definitely on my list. It really was a sweet movie. Um, let's see. And I wanted to say again too, Groundhog Day was on my comedy list, and that was one of Dad's favorite movies. He loved that
yeah.
movie. So every year I watch Groundhog the movie on Groundhog Day in honor of Dad. And this year was no different. I had to put Groundhog Day on so I could watch it for Dad. Um, and then I have fantasy sci-fi. Did you have any on your list for that?
Of course.
I had
I
a
said in my
feeling.
deep voice.
What you got?
Well, let's see how many of these are children's movies.
Well, same. I mean, yeah, I had several children's movies on mine.
So, Night at the Museum,
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that one. That's a good one.
and there are sequels, and the sequels are good too, but the first one is sort of a
The
classic.
best. Yeah.
And then I, I put I'm just realizing I put one on that list that's not a fantasy. I'm gonna
Oh,
have to
that's
remove
okay.
that. Okay, delete that one, but you don't know what it is yet. Of Ghostbusters, because I
Ah, yeah, I
any of the
didn't put that, but
Ghostbusters,
that was cute too. Yeah,
any of the Ghostbusters,
I
the
agree.
original, the one with the ladies. I love the one with the lady Ghostbusters
That's
because
Annie Potts, huh?
well she makes a cameo in it, but she's not uh actually I'm trying to remember if she is in it at all in that one. She's in the newest ones with Finn Wolfhard. But
Yeah.
the lady Ghostbusters ones is um oh shoot, Kristen Wiig, and that's all I'm going to give you because my brain can't function enough to think of the other ladies' names, but I know them. Anyway, that's the lady Ghostbusters. and they have Chris Hemsworth in there, and he is such an idiot in the movie, and it's so funny. He's a himbo, and
Okay, so it's Melissa
so good.
McCarthy and Kate
Thank
McKinnon are
you.
the other women that you can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? While we're not remembering what we didn't remember, the movie that I was talking about before was called The Other Woman. And it is,
Oh,
you were
right.
right, it's with Cameron Diaz, but also um, Leslie Mann was the one I was trying to
Oh,
think of. She does a commercial for her daughter with her daughter. That's really cute. And I just, it makes me giggle every time I see that commercial. And I think, I bet she's a really cool person in real life. She would be fun to hang
yeah.
out with. And Kate Upton is the other
Oh,
actress
okay.
in that movie. And it's, one of the women discovers that her boyfriend is married, but then he's also cheating on her with someone else. So
Mhm.
it's like three women all come together to get back
Yep.
at their love interest. So really cute
Mhm.
movie.
Um, some
You
other
would,
fantasies, huh?
yeah, go ahead.
I was the other fantasies I have on my list. Fantasy was any of the Harry Potters, but the Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite.
Uh,
And
I had those on my
Spirited.
list too,
I
all
put
of them.
Spirited on that list, which is a comedy and it's a Christmas movie, but I put it under fantasy.
Well, it sort of
It's
is.
all three.
Yeah.
That's another Ryan Reynolds. I guess I have a little
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds
You
thing.
do have a Ryan Reynolds
A little
fetish.
bit. And oh my God, did we forget the proposal or did you say
We
that?
sure did. We forgot it. That's one of our favorite rom-coms, The Proposal. Yes.
We love that.
And
Okay.
While You Were Sleeping, another Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh, we love Sandy. Sorry, Sandy.
Those were two very good movies,
Yes.
rom-coms. Remember that, While You Were Sleeping and The Proposal. I think The
Yeah.
Proposal should have been way up there on our list too. How many times have we
Yeah.
watched that? A
That's
gajillion.
I can't believe we forgot that one.
That's a
And
really
the
cute movie.
other fantasy that I wrote down is, and I do love all kind of fantasy movies, I love all the Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and all that stuff, but I didn't put them on my list because I guess because we've watched them so many times, I'm kind of watched out. I'll never be watched out of Harry Potter though. But the last one I put was one that's I don't think a lot of people have seen it because I never hear about it that much, but The House with the Clock in Its Walls,
Oh,
which
I
is
remember
another one.
that one. Yeah.
That's oh, what's her name? Joey always asks me if everybody's her because he gets all the women who have the same first name mixed up. Um,
Is she a Kate?
yes, Kate
I'm
uh
looking.
I can't lie. Why is my brain not function?
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. He thinks everybody's Kate Blanchett. And I'm like, not everyone is Kate Blanchett just because they're all Kate Catherines and Katies.
Yes. And I mean, it's Jack Black, and he's in the movie
Yes,
with the other Kate. So, which reminds me, we didn't mention that one.
we
What's
did
the
the
movie
holiday.
that? Oh, yes, we did mention The
That was
Holiday.
on my
That's
list.
right. We sure
Yeah.
did. That was the one I had forgotten to put on my list. Yeah, very good movie. The
Which
Goosebump movies with Jack Black are good,
oh yeah,
or at
those are
least the
cute.
first one was. I don't know if I saw the rest of them.
I know I saw the second one, but I think I only saw it once and I don't remember it that clear.
I know, same. I'm pretty sure we went to the show to see it. I had on my list Back to the Future, all of them. E.T., that's a kid's movie, really, but I like that one. And Wall-E.
Oh,
I took your
Wally.
kids to the movie to see that, your kids and mine to the movie to see Wall-E. So I
That's
remember
a
when
good
that one
one.
came out. Um, I had Little Shop of Horrors, Star Wars, the early ones though. I like the ones with Harrison Ford. Looper, which is Emily Blunt.
Oh,
That was an intense movie.
that
I
was an
remember,
intense
like,
movie.
I will never ever watch this movie again, but it was really interesting.
It's got
Uh,
JGL in it.
Yeah. And
It's
the
so
Hunger
cute.
Games I find are really difficult to watch, but they're really so well written and the acting is incredible.
Mm.
Jurassic Park, I liked the early ones. Wall-E, I mentioned Godzilla, the old Godzilla movie, and I want to say it was Hank Azaria was
Yes,
in
it
it.
was.
It was that was really good.
And Matthew
And
Broderick, huh?
yes, it sure was. Matthew Broderick, I think, played the news reporter. And then I had on my list all of the Back to the Future movies. I loved all of them. Huge Michael J. Fox fan. Did I miss any that you had on your list?
Well, the only other one I had on my list that I misplaced in my list, it should have been, I don't know where it should have been, because it's got humor and it's got drama. And so I don't know which list it should have been in. And I accidentally put it in fantasy, and I don't know why, was National Treasure. There's no fantasy in that,
Oh,
it's all
wow.
reality, but
Yeah. AJ and I just recently watched the Weird Al Yankovic story,
uh
which it's supposed to be biographical, but it is hysterical. It is not biographical. It's
no.
fictitious.
It's
But
ironic or
it's
whatever.
actually kind of funny though. There's some truth to it, but there are
Mm.
so many stars in it. I mean, if you just go look at the IMDb for the Weird Al Yankovic story, it's called Weird the Al Yankovic Story.
Mhm.
Wolfman Jack is played by Jack Black, which is what made me think of it when we were talking about Jack Black. But I wanted to mention one of Jack Black's movies that I forgot to mention, and I loved it. It was Shallow Hal,
Oh,
and I don't even see it on this list, but that was, um, yeah, I don't think it's on here, but that was a really good movie. I loved him in that. That was a sweet movie. In fact, we were flipping the channels the other day and caught like a very small piece of it when we were on our way to watch something else. But yeah, that was a good one. I mean, if Jack Black's in it, it's got to be good, right? What's
well,
the
did you?
Jumanji? We
Oh,
didn't mention
oh
Jumanji.
my gosh.
All of them.
All of them, yes, the original and the two new ones.
Yeah.
So good. So
I
funny.
remember when Jumanji came out, it was at the movie theater at the same time as the one with Will Smith, where like the world comes to an end or something, or
Independence Day
Independence Day. Yeah. Now,
or I
I've
Am
never
Legend.
seen Independence Day, but I remember we were going to the movies as a family, and AJ's two kids. This has how long ago it was. Danielle and Timothy were with us. I don't remember how old they were. I want to say Danielle was a teenager, but Danielle wanted to go see Independence Day, so she went with AJ to see that, and Timmy came with me to see Jumanji. And when we left out of the theater, Timmy was so excited over Jumanji that he made Danielle feel bad that she went to go see Independence Day because it was so good. And then when they came out with the new ones, I didn't think they were going to be able to do it, but they were great. They were really
Mm,
good. Well, we have a lot of favorite movies, don't we?
yeah.
But
Uh, you were talking about Jack Black, and it made me think of Nacho Libre,
oh
which
yeah,
I'm kind of surprised I didn't put it on my list because I'm always asking the kids to watch it because it's just really silly.
he's awesome. I like anything with him in it practically. Kung Fu Panda, that was good. I like talking about my favorite movies. So write to us and tell us what some of y'all's favorite movies are.
Yeah, that'd be fun,
Would love to hear it.
especially if you agree with us.
For sure.
Do you have any marinade today, Tina?
I do. I have an interesting piece of marinade for you, or not piece. You can't have a piece of marinade, can you? I
A
have some
bowl of marinade?
interesting marinade. This is what I was thinking, and this is what I would like people to marinate on. I always try to be really nice to other people and welcoming to them. But I've noticed something. We have a really good camaraderie amongst our club members in our Toastmasters club. And years ago, I was in another Toastmasters club that it was the same thing. The members were all good friends and got along really well and everything. And I remember one time, one of the guests that came to one of our meetings, we followed up with them to say, hey, how did you like the meeting? Blah, blah, blah. And I remember the person writing back and saying, I enjoyed the meeting. I thought it was well organized, but I did not feel as welcomed as I had hoped. And immediately I became defensive in my mind. I'm thinking, how could you say that? We're such fun people. We get along so well. But they went on to explain that it was clear to them that we had been a group for so long and that we all loved each other so much that they felt like on the outside.
Mm.
And it just really struck me back then. And it was one of those sort of life-changing moments for me. This was probably 10 years ago. And it was sort of a life-changing moment for me because I started thinking, you can't just be nice to people. You have to be overly nice or extremely welcoming if you really want them to be comfortable when they're coming into your group from the outside, right? So it's affected the way I've dealt with guests at follow-up meetings, at other Toastmasters meetings and events. It's also affected the way I looked at evangelism ministry at our church when I would meet new people. Sometimes you don't want to overwhelm people when they're new by making them feel like, oh, we love you and we want you to be part of our group. Because you don't want them to think that you're desperate for members or anything like that. But it's another thing to make people feel welcome. And sometimes being nice is not enough. You have to go the extra yard to get to know them and make them part of the group. And it made me think back to my younger years. I've always had somewhat of some type of social anxiety, even though I'm really good about doing presentations and public speaking and all that. As an individual person, I have social anxiety and I don't like going to a place where I don't know anybody. And it was very difficult for me to go to my very first Toastmasters meeting. And if it wasn't for 3 or 4 of the ladies that really were extremely kind to me and welcoming, I don't know that I would have had the same experience. And so I remember, it makes me think back of when I was younger and trying to fit in at school or in groups of friends that I had, always feeling like I was the outsider and not, especially if they had formed friendships before I met them. So I'm just my marinade, what I would like people to marinate on is what can you do to go the extra step to make people who are outside of your core group feel welcome. If you are ladies that you have a ladies club and suddenly a new lady joins your ladies club, and you could probably relate to this, Priscilla, because you're new to our church, but I think I'm blessed to say that you were welcomed really nicely by everyone. We have a really welcoming church, but for people that know what a welcoming church we are, we need to make sure that we go to the extreme and really welcome them. So that is my marinade. So next week, we're going to be talking about National Women's History. Is that right, Priscilla? History Month. And so we'll be looking forward to that and hearing about some inspiring women. But until then, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.